Hello, hello. All right, so I'm downstairs in my living room, guys. I have puppies running all over the place, and so I have to keep an eye on them. But I'm really excited. I have dogs running all over the place, so I'm completely unprofessional today. So I apologize. No, I don't. I'm human. I'm a mom. I'm not trying to pull that line with y'all. So you like my poinsettia? I'm loving it. It's like huge. But anyway, being in my living room, um, it's fun because I'm literally, I'll show you the puppies in just a second, but I have to watch them, okay? I'm a foster mom, and so I foster puppies until they're adopted. So I'm on foster duty right now. My husband said I'm done for the night. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Raven Woods. I'm the CEO and founder of Autism Mama Rocks IEP, and I help parents gain the knowledge and the confidence to become the CEO of their IEP meeting. With that said, if you are new catching me live, hey Cynthia, hey Aaron, your gift cards are coming, or Aaron, you're not, yours isn't, you know what you're getting, but Cynthia, yours is. So guys, post a 1 below if it's your first through third time catching me live. A 1 below. All right. We want to get to know you. I know this is the page. It's not as personal as, the group, but we want to get to know you. Okay. Post a 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie. And I promise you guys, they're going to welcome you and you're going to feel right at home, especially over in the group. All right. Sorry, I'm looking behind me. I got these little puppies. All right, so today, I love today's topic. You probably were looking at it and you were probably thinking, oh my God, what is she saying? What do you mean stop talking? Stop running your mouth. And I will be honest with you guys. I'm sure it won't be that shocking. But back in the day when I was young, high school, oh my God, I was the gossip queen. Gossip queen. All right. And, I learned the hard way, kind of like I did with the IEPs. I guess that's, when you kind of know your stuff, when you've gone through things. My mother used to always say, Raven, why do you always have to go through things the hard way for you to learn your lesson? Anybody else like that? That's how I am. Okay. I admit it. I own it. All right. I'm 43 now. I don't care. I'm good. Okay. But I've always learned the hard way. And, it's one of those things where, I no longer gossip. It's actually not something I do at all. And I hate it. It drives me nuts. Okay. People have their stuff. People go through things. And unless you're walking in their shoes, end it. Okay. Do you hear the puppies? So bottom line, I don't do it. But I want you to know you've got to stop talking. Okay? Stop freaking talking. Stop opening your mouth when it comes to the IEP. If you want to do that in your own time with whatever else is going on in your life, go for it. That's not my business. But puppies! You hear them fighting? Wait till you see them. Hang on. Come here. Come here. Look at this. Is this so cute? This is what was fighting. Here's the other one. They're brother and sister. Aren't they cute? Say hi to everybody. They were listening to you guys fight. Uh-huh. All right. So, what do I mean by stop talking, stop running your mouth, right? You guys are probably like, who are you to tell me that? But I'm serious, okay? I run into this all the time. And I even wrote this to myself today to remember to talk to you guys about this. And the first thing I want you to know is how many times maybe have you said to your team, oh yeah, my child goes to outside therapy, to OT twice a week. My child goes to speech 3 times a week. I don't understand why you're not providing speech or OT for my child because they said that it is needed for my child, that my child actually can't. One of the ones I read actually said the child would not be able to function in the educational setting without OT. All right. And many of them that I've seen are with nonverbal kids, okay, with speech. And parents, of course, we take our kids to outside therapists, because we're worried and we want our kids to speak and we want our kids to be the best that they can be. And why wouldn't we do our job, which is be parents, right? But our job has nothing to do with, number one, what the educational setting does. And then number two, they can't use what you do against you. So here's where you stop running your mouth. Stop telling them who you're going to on the outside. What's unfortunate is once you get what you get, then let them collaborate. Then let them talk. Because that's actually a good thing, you know, when two speech therapists can talk, or two OTs, etc. That's fine. All right. Hi, Jessica. How are you? Hi, Kim. Hi, Marlene. How are you? Hi, Betsy. Goodness. Hey, Sarah. How are you? I think I texted you. Hi, Michelle. And how do I say your name? Is it a silent D? Is it Nisam? Did I say that right? I hope I did. So, guys, what? We're messing with the tree. One for messing on the floor while I have. All right, you should see my floor. It's covered with towels, and then a huge blanket, and then those freaking pee-pee pads. And do you know I've gone through 150 in a week? 150 pee pads. It's insane, but I can't handle it if there's pee on them or the poop. It's got to get cleaned. You know what I mean? Okay. So stop telling them that you go to outside therapists. All right. Don't tell them that you're going to an OT on the outside and that's why you should get OT on the inside in school, or that your child is getting speech on the outside and that you need speech on the inside at school. Let me tell you why. Yes. Oh my God. It's like my kids are 24, 20. They're almost one age older, and 15. And I'm like, I have to wake up in the middle of the night. It's bad. Okay. They're running around the house. So come here, baby. I mean, just watching them run around the house. Isn't it cute? What do you guys think he is? What do you think he is? This is the boy. And I don't know what he is. Like, what kind of dog? Oh, and I have a question for you guys. I'm changing my logo. I'm going to get to this. But I'm changing my logo, colors and stuff like that. You know, the little cartoony person. And I need your advice. I've narrowed it down to 4. So I need help. All right. So here's the reason why you don't open your mouth and tell them what you're getting on the outside. Okay? Number 1, the two have nothing to do with each other. If you want to tell them, that you are going to someone on the outside, then you're risking the chance. You think? Because they're so tiny. I don't know. I do think that they look German Shepherdish. All right. So you don't want them coming back at you, all right, and saying, oh, show me the evaluation or show me this, okay? Because then what happens, and this has happened in 5 consecutive IEPs I have been to. Yes. Where the school is now saying, well, since your child's already getting 2 days a week on the outside, then we'll only do 1 day or 2 days. Because you already have an outside therapist and we don't want to double it to where it's too much for them. Seriously? They can't use the outside, what you do on the outside. They can't say, oh, your kid can't have recess because you went to the park yesterday. They can't do that. Just like they can't say, oh, you get 2 times a week speech on the outside. We'll only give you this because you have 2 times a week on the outside. All right? But what happens is you guys open your mouth and tell them and give them the opportunity to use that against you. They can't, they shouldn't, but they do. So save yourself that stress, and a lot of people don't realize until you hear my crazy ass tell you, stop running your mouth. Stop telling them. It's kind of like if it doesn't need to be said in regards to what's in that IEP and you giving objective data to prove otherwise to get the things that you need for your child, okay? Don't tell them, all right? Now, it's fine if you want to say, you know, my child does XYZ at home. Lord, I don't know where these puppies are now. My child does XYZ at home, and you know, it's very concerning. And you know, I've seen in the notes that my child's doing this at school too. It's okay to associate like that, all right, because it's mirrored in both places, all right. But if the school's trying to say your child doesn't ever do anything in school, but is then listening to you say your child does this at home, and you know good and well there's no way that your child does this all the time at home and doesn't do any of it ever at school. Who has heard that? Oh my gosh, your child's an angel. They don't do any of that here. We don't see any of that. I mean, what kills me the most is when a school teacher or a therapist or anybody at the school will say, "Oh, we don't see the autism." What the hell? What do you mean? Kids with autism look normal and fine. What do you mean you don't see autism? I don't get it. What is it you need to see? You know? Now, if they said something like, oh, the impact of disability is not being present here in the school, and we are, you know, not seeing the things that you're seeing, and it's not impacting your child enough in the educational setting to able them to have special education. Now, that would make sense. That would be a very mature thing to say, and okay, I can understand that. But if I'm hearing that, you know, from a teacher or anybody, I'm not just formulating this on teachers, I'm just saying anybody that is coming at me from the school and saying, hey, you know, we're not seeing that here. I'm sorry, but I've worked with kids ever since I could work. All right. That was my first job back in the day when I was 10 years old. Okay. Because they did this when I was younger. Okay. I took was a babysitting course. All right. And at 10 years old, I got certified in CPR and first aid, and I babysat at 10 years old. Back then it was allowed. And then I babysat all my life. And, you know, then I became a teacher, and I've worked with kids in all capacities since. All right. And I can tell you that there are things that kids do at home with mom or dad that are different than they would do in public or at school, etc. However, it is very unlikely for your child to have specific behaviors due to a disability such as autism or ADHD, and them not to exhibit any of those behaviors at school. All right? Come on. All right? I understand playing dumb is part of the game, but don't insult my intelligence or yours. So, going back to the outside. Do not tell them if you're going to an outside therapist unless it is going to work in your benefit. No, let me rephrase that. Unless it's going to work in your child's benefit. So ask yourself this question. If I mention that my child goes to an outside OT or speech, how is that going to help my child get more services, accommodations, and modifications? If you can't answer that, and it's not going to help your child in getting what is needed and appropriate for them, then don't open your mouth. Period. It will be used against you. I can promise you that. If not now, it will be. Okay? Because when you start pissing them off, when you start getting educated in the IEP process, when you start smartening up like we all are and not putting up with the crap, guess what happens, guys? They all of a sudden don't like you anymore. You're not their friend anymore. That's what you have to remember, is we are not friends. We don't go to the movies with each other. We don't pick up the phone and chit chat at night. We don't have dinner together. We're not friends. We are business partners. Okay? And the goal is to be business partners for the benefit of the child. Doesn't always happen like that, right? The other thing is you go to you ask for an outside evaluation. I'm glad you share what you do. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Karina says, I know, right? Aaron says, what does it look like? No child that I know of is identical to another. That's right. Jessica says, and having more issues again since we are virtual school till January now, and his speech is trying to make up her own hours. Yeah, I just dealt with that in an IEP today. When my son's IEP clearly states he has speech about twice a week, and they are trying to work their schedule and not sure when she will do twice a week. What can I tell them? Because my son has missed so much. Well, that's a 504 complaint. That's what's happening to one of my clients right now. Not to get off topic, but what I'm dealing with right now is we're getting ready to mediate, and the parents, their exact words, if you'd like me to read it to you, their exact words. Excuse my language. I shouldn't say that because my language is usually atrocious because I was military for forever and it just stuck with me. So I apologize. I actually have intelligence, but I sometimes have a filthy mouth. All right. So the parent said, and I love this. I love her. Her exact words. Hold on. I want to read the exact thing. Okay. And of course, now I can't find it. I'm going to get it. Okay, here it is. I just passed it. She goes, pardon my language, but we are going after these motherfuckers. Those are her exact words. So, and this is what happened today. All right. So the school system has committed lots of violations. The biggest one is like what you said. All right, Jessica. Similar. All right. So speech. So this child has also social work, which is weird because of what she does is really weird. Parents want to get rid of it. They actually tried to not get rid of it. I was like, you can't implement anything the parent doesn't agree with or want you to implement. So anyway, long story short, the child is not getting the services, accommodations, and modifications that should be in play, such as the speech therapist and social worker not showing up to the virtual learning. Like literally, the father is sitting in front of the computer and waiting for the therapist to show up. All right. And today, when we asked that and mentioned it, she denied it and said, no, that's not true. I've gone to every single virtual learning. I've never been late because she was always late, sometimes 10 minutes late and then ends 5 minutes early. And then when the dad said, well, I said, that's interesting because it's on recording. And then the dad said, the dad's a police officer and has been for quite some time. And, he then says, that's interesting because we were standing at the computer and took screenshots with the time and date until you came on, which was like 15 minutes late. All right. And then one of the times she didn't show up, but she said she did in the meeting today. So that's why it's so important for documentation, guys, notes and data. I mean, mom has literally verbatim what things are said. So if she's sitting down with her child and they're doing school, and since I sent my first email, since that's so evil, I guess, then everybody's on the alert and then the attorneys come after me and I'm dealing with the attorneys and not the director of special ed. So be it. So, bottom line, what's crazy is, the lies that came out today, and they knew that there's no way that it was going to stick. We had it all on recording, all of it. She even had where so-and-so said this, and she wrote it in red, and then she said this, and she wrote it in black. I mean, it was meticulous. And that is why it's so, so, so important that she lied. Yes, we need to document. That's right. And that's why it's so important to document everything. And if for some reason, say it wasn't recorded or whatever, then you need to make sure the minute you get off the phone, or which I always don't agree with, getting on the phone, not ideal. Stop having them call you, okay? Say, please don't call me, unless it's an emergency with my child. I'd really appreciate you just stick to email because I have access to that more during the day. Say something like that, all right? And then you get an email. They don't want to put it in email, guys. They do not want to put it in email. They're going to try to call you, text you, whatever, which is so weird. Why do they text you? That's like odd. And I know it's convenient for some parents. I get it. I totally get it. But it's so dangerous. So dangerous. All right. So moving over to, you want an outside evaluation. All right. But you already got one of your own. And they know that. All right. So it's your time for an evaluation. It's either been a year and you're requesting an evaluation, or you requested an evaluation, they did an evaluation. In the meantime, while they did an evaluation, which a lot of us do, I tell people to do this all the time, so you have something to compare it to. I say, go get your own IEE it's not really an IEE, but I just say that. Go get your own evaluation on your own, And then when the evaluation comes in, this isn't even an IEE yet. This is the school's doing an evaluation. Sorry, I'm looking for the puppies. Rocco, come here. So, bottom line, you want to make sure that you do that, all right? You don't want, okay, so let me back up because I just got distracted with these puppies. All right, so what I'm saying is if you go and get an outside evaluation, or you ask for an evaluation from the school, and then you ask for an IEE, all right? So let's just stick with the evaluation so I don't confuse you. So you ask the school for an evaluation. It's been a year. It's your right to ask for an evaluation. Or you don't agree with the evaluation that was done and you ask for an IEE. But let's just say anywhere along the line of when you requested an evaluation, or when they were doing an evaluation, or that you requested an IEE. Say somewhere in there you went on your own and went to a therapist or a speech therapist or whoever to get a psychoed or whatever, and you get your own evaluation. Well, then you go tell the school. So the school's going to say, typically, they'll say something like, oh, well, we don't want to duplicate the evaluation, so why don't you just give us your outside evaluation? No. Do your own evaluation. I don't have to give you the outside evaluation. If I decide to bring it to the IEP meeting, then you, as a team with myself, have to consider it. But until then, no, this is my evaluation. And that's what you say. You do not have to give any evaluation that you choose to get on your own without the school to the school. Actually, I don't think you should unless it's going to benefit you. Okay? So what do I mean by that? Well, how it's going to benefit you is that it benefits your child in some way, shape, or form educationally. The only reason you want to hand over, okay, at the IEP meeting for them to see, not give, never hand over an evaluation from the outside and just give it to them. There's no reason for them to have it, okay? They can review it. They can see it in an IEP meeting. It needs to be documented in the PWN that they saw it, all right, and what it said, so they better read it very carefully at the IEP meeting. But you do not have to give them a copy. Why give them a copy? It's not their business, okay? All they need to know is what it said if you so choose to give it to them. But they don't need to know that until they do their evaluation. You then, as the parent, are able to compare the two, okay? And then once you compare the two, you're able to really decipher, okay, the school said this and my private evaluation said this. Is there a bias going on? Meaning, did the school really work that evaluation to accommodate them? Okay. Or was it adequate? Was it good? Which I have a school system in California who did a 51-page psychoed, and it's the best psychoeducational evaluation I've ever seen. Ever. I was highly impressed. But guess what? In speaking to the mom, that evaluator, the psychologist, was brand new right out of school, fresh. She wanted to do a thorough evaluation, which is how they should be doing it at all times. But, as things go, people get lazy, and that's just life, right? But unfortunately, that laziness and, normalcy actually in the laziness, it's actually normal for us to do that. We get lax after we do something for a while. But in doing that, who suffers? And so that's what we can't allow. All right. So you do not need to give an evaluation that you get on the outside to the school. I actually don't recommend it. All right. Don't tell them that you got one. Let them do their own. You want to make it to where you get that evaluation from them. All right. You want to make it where you get not only the evaluation from them, but hopefully a thorough evaluation from them so that you're able to really see a whole picture from different sides of the spectrum of things that are going on from the outside and the inside. And it's enlightening if you have two good evaluations. Then when it comes time to go to the IEP meeting, after you've had a chance to review all said evaluations, then you can share it with them. So it's not like you're keeping a secret, but if you share it too soon, then your request for an evaluation is going to be used against you. Okay? A lot of times, again, I don't say always and I don't say never, but I will say many times it is used against you. Meaning the schools will say, oh, well, we don't want to duplicate the evaluation. We don't want to do two of the same test. I actually think that's smart. Why would they say, I don't want to do two of the same test? Think about it, guys. They don't want to do two of the same test because if theirs is completely off and the outside one is the whole other side of the spectrum, well, come on now. You're going to really know what happened there. You're going to know good and well what happened. You're going to know that some shady stuff was going on. All right? And that's what is a problem. All right? And I don't want that used against you. Save yourself the stress and the extra discussion and fight and keep your mouth shut. All right? So stop talking, stop opening your mouth, and think about what I say is going to benefit my child in the educational setting, then say your piece. If it is not, you have to make it the right time. It's kind of like as a kid, we all learned we only ask mom and dad things when they're in a good mood because then they'll most likely say yes. So you have to make it the right time. Everything is based on the right time, and a lot of things we do. Same thing here. If you request an evaluation, if you request an IEE, do not tell the school that you got your own. Allow yourself the opportunity to review both on your own with no stress and the school not saying, hey, provide us this, or even saying, oh, well, you didn't provide this for 3 months. You didn't provide us the psychoed that you had for 3 months, so we couldn't even consider it. Well, if they don't know that you didn't get it, they can't say that. So then parents get stressed out because the school system's kind of underlying threatening them by saying, hey, well, if you didn't provide it to us, or if you don't provide it to us, then we can't consider it, which is bullshit. All right? Because as long as you take it to the IEP meeting and present it to them and show them and explain it to them, and they are able to review it in detail, just like, they should be reviewing theirs in detail with you, then they can't say that. And as long as you show it to them, that's all that's needed. But at the right time. Don't let your mouth get ahead of you. All right? So, and this is just 2 tips and 2 examples, okay, which is when you go to outside services and when you request an evaluation or an IEE and you've gotten an evaluation on your own, or you're going to outside therapists and you're requesting more services in school and they're using that against you. All right. So just a quick tip for Monday. All right. I wanted to throw that at you. I want you to, let it sink in a little bit and maybe reevaluate the things that are being said or the things you have said that maybe you shouldn't have said. Just start thinking about those things moving forward. All right. Less is more. All right. With this process, unless it needs to come out, and then let it come out at the right time in the right place where it's going to be effective and work for you. All right. You want information and knowledge to work for you, not against you. And so knowing this and knowing the things that can happen and knowing in advance that other people have dealt with this, and this isn't just my experiences are in the past, but I've dealt with it. All right. But I'm telling you here and now of all the freaking IEPs that I am in every day. All right. Today I had one, thank God. Tomorrow I have another at 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. So you've got to watch what you say. All right. This is coming from someone who's in the trenches dealing with this and hearing it all the time. And I don't want it to happen to you. It may not be happening to you right now, but just know that somewhere along the line in the educational setting, or your special education career is what I call it, you're going to experience a lot of these hardships. There's no smooth sailing with this. All right. You may have periods without those waves, but it's going to happen. All right. And I just want to save you from a lot of the stress parents are going through and the turmoil and anxiety, to be quite honest. So just be very careful of the things you say. All right. So I'm going to answer a couple questions and then we're going to hop off because it's 10:52 here. Who is East Coast here? Look, I got marshmallows in my Ovaltine. Anybody else drink Ovaltine? I freaking love it. My grandmother used to drink it. All right. Let me answer questions. Yeah, I'll have to, whenever I go on my phone, I can't find the poll, Cynthia, so I got to look for it. All right. German Shepherd looks like they just are so small and their paws are so small. I just don't know if they're German Shepherd. I'm not sure. And the SPCA doesn't tell you. I guess it's some sort of liability when you are fostering and when you adopt that they can't tell you what the breed is, even if they do know. Cynthia says, my son actually got denied outside therapy because he gets speech at school. That's crazy. That's why I don't. And, it actually has, now that you say that, it actually has, been an outside thing too, So you just got to be careful. Aaron says, oh my God, yes. What were you referring to with that? Karina says, always, your son doesn't look like he had autism. Yeah. Aaron says he is just really active. Oh, yeah. You guys hear those things? Jessica, hopefully I answered your question in regards to the services. In regards to what do you tell them? How much longer do you want to keep violating Section 504? That's what I would say. I wouldn't tell them, but I would say, hey, how long do you plan? I would put it in an email. I would say, hey, I've been wondering, since my child hasn't received, any speech therapy in however many days it is, Jessica. I would just like to know how much longer, since it's already been 3 months, 2 months, whatever it is, how much longer you plan on violating Section 504. I'd really like to know. And when you're ready, I'd really appreciate my child starting speech again, because virtual learning didn't change my child's IEP. Thanks so much. I look forward to hearing back from you. That's exactly what I would say. They'll be shocked that you said that. And you'll get a reaction. The goal is to get a reaction. What does it look like? No child that I know of is identical to another. That's absolutely correct. Irene says, I'm glad you want to share what you do. Thank you. Erin says, never was their friend. Yeah, we are not friends. She lied. Yes, we need to document. Very much so. Erin says, I love all the random how you are talking and all random you see a tail. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm in my living room, so my dogs are walking around. But yeah. Tanya says, I always complete all discussions about my son's IEP by email. Okay. What do you mean by that? Can you elaborate with that for a second so we can fully understand? But I like what you're saying. I'm following you. I just want to see if you would care to elaborate just a little bit. All right. Thank you for all your help. You're welcome, Irene. I appreciate it. And for anybody joining, the replay or having had jumped on now and I've been running my mouth, now that I'm telling you not to run yours, post a 1 below if it's your first through third time catching me live. Post a 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie. Okay? All right. What do you do when a psychologist sits in IEP meeting and says, take these scores with a grain of salt? Why? Did you not do your job? That's what I would say. Jessica says, I don't have an outside therapist since I can't even get any help where I live outside. So I have to stick with the school and their therapist, which is why I'm trying so hard to stay on them and now going full virtual compared to when we had 2 days in school for my son's services, the rest at home, virtual just from the regular teacher. And now I just don't want them to not follow my son's IEP and do a schedule that fits them and not us, basically. Yeah. Where do you live, Jessica? Do you mind me asking? Because that sucks when you are in an area that, is limited on maybe some resources or services and that sort of thing, because it makes it very difficult. But bottom line, the school can't use that as a reason to not provide services, accommodations, and modifications to your child. And they can't use the fact that coming up with all the excuses that they have in their bag, they definitely can't continue to make excuses if there's documentation that there isn't progress or there's huge deficits in areas and then limited services are provided, all of those different things. Hi, Cindy. How are you? Erin says they need to do their job, though, giving that info. Once the kids go back, are you able to pause resource services? I think they might be doing my son more harm than good. What do you mean by that, Karina? Oh, yeah, we're talking about where we're at, I guess, now. So we have New York, we have North Carolina. Where are you guys from? Go ahead and post. Sarah says, we missed 2 months of speech at the end of last year. Why? Hi, Delrose. How are you? Cynthia says she admits she doesn't believe they're accurate. Okay. Well, I need an IEE then. I'm in PA. What part of PA? Desiree is from Florida, my favorite state. Jessica, you're welcome. You're very welcome. So yeah, Sarah, why did you miss 2 months? That's a lot of time. Aaron says, my middle son is 4 and he's nonverbal, and we had an evaluation done and was diagnosed with autism level 2. But then the school psychologist goes over their evaluation and we don't see any signs of autism. Yeah. Susan says she's from Arkansas. And then we have Del Rose from LA. Thank you. And you know what? I haven't even looked because I've been so crazy today. I posted help of the silver or the red. We kept the silver, but I'm curious what you guys said. I have not looked it up yet, but I am curious. Very cool. All right. So, Central PA in a rural area. Okay. All right. So I guess it's not near like Pittsburgh or Philly or anything like that, huh? Because I know both of those places have lots going on. The University of, what is it? Penn State has tons of stuff. Tons of stuff. We went out there a long time ago when Sky was younger. And Penn State has great doctors and everything. So, you like the silver better? Yeah, we kept the silver, so. Sarah says, when the school went virtual, her speech therapist never made contact, never sent me contact information, never reached out. Oh, wow. So when the school first went virtual, like let's just say before summer, I know in my area, it was not virtual. It was called distance learning. Okay. So distance learning is very different from virtual learning. Okay. That's mandated for all children, etc. Distance learning was, nobody was in school yet, and they had closed the schools. So then all they did was send like weekly packets to parents, and they weren't held liable for implementing the IEP. Now, once school opened and it became either hybrid, virtual, or in school completely as normal, then children have to be provided everything within their IEP and it be upheld and implemented with fidelity. So, dependent on the verbiage of what you're meaning, and what I mean by that is as long as you were really in virtual learning and not distance learning, then those 2 months was a 504 violation. It can be a due process issue or it can be an OCR complaint, whatever, but it's one of the biggest issues, and it's discrimination. Now, again, if it was not virtual learning and mandated, like all kids are right now, it's either hybrid or they're in full time or they're straight up virtual, that is different than, the distance learning. So, all right. Hi, Marlene. Did I say hi to you yet? All right. And Heather, hello. German Shepherd mix, huh? You guys keep saying German Shepherd, but I'm just like, that's what I said too at first. And then their size I was like, no, So that's the only reason I'm like, saying no is because of their size. They're so tiny, and their paws are tiny. They're not big, like, oh, they're going to be a big dog because look, they got to grow into their paws. It's not like that. Their paws are little. So I'm like, all right. Psych said things like, this isn't a child the parents like with, this isn't a child that the presents like a child with blank IQ, and used behavior and speech as reasons she feels not accurate. Yeah, I have an IEP I looked at, honestly, like right before I got on here, and it was interesting because in that IEP, the exact I'll actually pull it up for you. The exact words that the evaluator said in this psychoeducational evaluation was, I find this funny, due to the student's name, refusal behaviors, and his distractibility, this assessment should be viewed with extreme caution. That's what it says. So now we're using words like caution because of the child's behaviors, which, giving a benefit of the doubt, I get it. Some children's behaviors is very disruptive. But call me mean and evil, educators, being an educator myself, and I always say my daughter's an educator too, so we highly respect you. But for the evaluators, why aren't you guys creative? You've got to get creative, all right? So if that means you only complete 20 minutes of the assessment and you actually have to do it the next day, oh my God, you continue it the next day. And you know what? If it takes 7, 8 days, you know what? If it takes 2 weeks to complete one evaluation because you had to do it in 30-minute increments to accommodate the student, that's awesome. Because we're going to get, and you're going to get, a good evaluation. Not writing in, proceed with caution when you read this evaluation because the child's behavior impeded his ability to do the evaluation because he refused. Come on now. I mean, you got to get, creative here. You can't be lazy with this stuff. All right? You just can't. That irritates me. Now, do I think that there are circumstances where a child is so severely impacted that, doing things in chunks, it's called chunking. So if you hear the word chunking, what that means is taking something and chunking it up into bits and pieces. So that could be by minutes, that can be by work, whatever. And so, I hate hearing from educators and evaluators, oh, we weren't able to do this because the child's behavior impeded his ability to do it. Or proceed with caution because, he refused to do it, Well, you know what? Motivate him. The child has a damn BIP. What are you going to reward him with? Get creative. Stop giving us excuses. If I'm that mom that just doesn't want the excuses and you're the mom that does, that's fine. We're different. But bottom line, my thing is if I want an evaluation on my child, damn it, it better be a good evaluation. If it takes you a month, it takes you a month. You got 60 days to do it anyway. So do a good job. If you have to do it over. Because it couldn't be done or it was, not able to really be calculated because the student was, being obstinate and wasn't paying attention or stims were too high at the moment, whatever. I mean, a child can eat sugar or, a big thing, honestly, is red dye. It can really set a child off and, sensory is a huge issue. So, we don't know what that day the child is or how the child is going to be impacted. So I truly believe that if you take the time and attention and put that towards the child and the evaluation, that you'll get one hell of an evaluation and a whole lot better than I've been seeing if you take your time to do it. You legally have 60 days to do it. Take the damn 60 days. I know us parents want to rush you, but shit, take the 60 days. Give us a good evaluation. We'd rather that. Okay, I'm done saying my piece. Believe me, I can't get anything where I live in my county. I tried. I'm like an hour away from Pittsburgh and Penn State, so it's hard for me to get anyone out here to help because, yeah, I get it. I did get out of county and they told me my school was being illegal at the time, but now my son is in an all autism school. It's getting more harder for virtual now, like you stated above, so I don't understand this. If in the IEP they say that due to behavioral challenges, due to the diagnosis of autism, and felt that given the behavior support through his positive reinforcement plan, should what they do be this in the IEP? Who should be making this up? Can you say that, Kim? No, we have not had a behavioral. I need you to re-say that for me. Kristen, the school psychologist was working with my son to help him with his anxiety when he was in person. I did sign a form giving him permission to work with my son, but we never had anything added to the IEP. Is this something that needs to be added? Of course. Everything needs to be added into the IEP. You guys know I joke, all right? I always joke about this, to lighten things up when it comes to the IEP, because this is not a light subject for many of us, all right? So if you're going through a area in your life where the IEP process and the IEP period journey, your career in the IEP world, or your child's career is going smooth, then that's amazing. All right. You need to ride that non-wave for as long as you can. Just make sure that your IEP is on point. All right. Because a lot of times when things are quiet is because they don't want to deal with you. They don't want to deal with any parents typically. And they don't want you coming at them. So the quieter it is, the better things go, So you have this good communication possibly with the teacher. No one's told by higher ups to be quiet and not talk to you. Everything's going good. And the minute your gut tells you something's wrong, or the minute you start questioning different things, is the minute things change. All right? That relationship changes. And so I always tell people, you always have to be on your toes. That doesn't mean look for the bad. That doesn't mean hope for the bad. That doesn't mean know that the IEP process is a royal pain in the ass, which it is. But bottom line, you don't want to look at things in a negative light. All right? I know it sounds sometimes like I look at things like that, but I don't, honestly. However, I'm smart about it. I don't not look at it like that either. And when you deal with something day in and day out in regards to the stuff that goes on behind the scenes and what is happening to these children, it starts pissing you off. And it's frustrating. The thing, like literally today, I was screaming. I was. And I said, I don't even know what to say. I cannot believe how you would treat this child. Children, I even said this, I said children who are less impacted receive more services than this. This is a disservice to the child. This is not accommodating them. This is not providing them FAPE in any way, shape, or form. And I said more than that too. And the attorney and I went at it for the whole meeting. We were at each other's throats the whole freaking meeting. And, there was a lot of interesting things in this meeting. Let's just say that. But bottom line, you always want to be on your toes. That doesn't mean hope for the bad. We want things to go good. We want the right thing done. We want good evaluations. We want our kids to progress. We want our kids to have the best educators, to where those educators will do everything within their power to educate our kids versus not. Or if something's not working, that those educators will come to us and say, this isn't working. Let's work together to figure this out. Those are the things that we, or at least me, I am striving to encourage educators to do. There's a lot of educators on this page, and I want them to please serve our children in the best way possible and be honest with parents versus dishonest, because they will lose that relationship forever, and it goes downhill from there, and it's nothing but problems. And as a teacher, I can tell you hands down, when problems arise and you lose that trust with parents concerning their kids, it your fault or not, it's done. It's over. And there's going to be more stress on you than you could ever believe. And parents will not sit back anymore. You know, the ones that you think are sitting back are the ones reaching out to people like me and other advocates, you know, that are good and know what they're doing. Um, so that would be the wise thing, you know. As parents, guys, you guys on here, there's a lot of educators on here, you know, a lot of educators who, when they join my group and they answer the questions appropriately, and are honest that they're educators, you know, because, you know, my team and we don't just accept everybody. And so we know, you know, if someone's a teacher or not. It's not hard to figure out. And, you know, I've had different people from different teams try to join my Facebook group and everything, you know, and I'm very picky about that. So anyway, guys, I want you to just be careful, okay? But know that there's a lot of educators on here who have been honest, and I've welcomed with open arms onto this page and to the group. I'm specifying the group as far as accepting them, because they want to learn. They are frustrated too, and they are wanting to write goals better. I have, you know, educators who said, I want to write better goals. I want to, you know where the parent's coming from. I want to, you know, and hey, some may have good intentions, some might have bad, but hey, we got to give them the benefit of the doubt and, you know, hope that things will eventually change so that our kids can fully get everything that's needed and appropriate. If the IEP, okay, yeah. The psychologist was working with my son to help with anxiety. Okay. We love our IEP team right now, but we'll get a new team when we go to kindergarten next year. I'm so worried. Yeah, the baby stage is easy. But I got my fingers crossed for you, Kristen, okay? But yes, it changes drastically once you go to school. All right. The preschool and your child more than likely has the disability category of developmental delay. They don't typically switch it until you go to school, but more are doing that. But yeah, when they're babies, it's so much easier. I miss those days in regards to that. It says the CSE discussed his behavioral challenges as social and his diagnosis of autism, and felt that given the behavioral support, through his positive reinforcement plan, who should make this up, and should it be in his IEP what they reinforcement plan? Okay, I think I understand. All right. Yes. Anything behavior, I always associate BCBA. There's very few, like one I looked at today, a social worker did the BIP. It was horrible. Didn't even have a de-escalation plan. It didn't have shit. Then you have school psychologists. It can go either way. You know, it's like 50-50. You have some psychologists who actually have written BIPs and have become very effective in drawing them up and doing them right. And then there's ones that don't. But I've also seen this same with BCBAs. I'll be honest and say that. But those are the ones who are the experts in behavior. I will say that. So I always say a BCBA when it comes to behavior. I mean, stick with what you're good at, you know? Like in school and growing up, I was good at dance, you know? Now I'm good with kids. I know that I'm good with kids. I'm good at being an IEP advocate. you know? Am I good at sports? No, I sucked. I tried to play them. I was no good. All right. Could I dance? Was I on the little, teams and, dance teams? Yeah. But can I play sports? No, I'm scared of the ball. I will not do ball things. If the ball's coming at my face, I'm running the other way. So, you got to stick with what you're good at, and, that's just how I feel about it. It's kind of like, anything. I'm trying to think of like, okay, if this person did this, then that would be crazy, but I can't think of anything right now because I'm tired. It's 11:20 here, but yeah. I can't try to be like funny when I'm tired. I think this is the latest I've been live, but I'm sure I'm getting a lot of West Coasters, right? Don't forget, guys, post a 1 below if you're new, first through third time catching me live, okay? First through third time catching me live. After 3, you guys are oldies but goodies, and make sure you post a 2 below, okay? If you haven't joined the group, head over there. It is such an amazing group. Just put in the search bar, Autism Mama Rocks IEP group, and join the group, all right? You're welcome, Del Rose. Was shot down and was told that they try to correct the behavior. So now I have no idea what they do. Okay, so here's the thing. All right. Thank you, guys. Yeah, and post where you're from. I want to know where you're from. I love working with people all over the place. I've now hit 38 states. For those of you who know me, my goal for 2021 is to work in all 50 states. And I'm at 38. That's so cool, right? I love it. It's so awesome. And I love hearing that, like, because I've worked in, California a ton, and then many, many other states. And it's interesting, when the schools will try to, well, in our state, we do it like this. I know. I've worked with your state several times. But yeah. So it's interesting, because states are not that different. All right. There's little things that are different. They can only deviate from idea so much. Okay. It has to be better, and it cannot be that different. All right. So, like in Florida, I had to be an advocate for a due process thing. We had to, like, the judge actually calls you to ask you a ton of questions to be able to be, it's called a qualified representative. So you have to, that's very nerve-wracking, getting a call from a judge and asking you a crap ton of questions in regards to their state law and then idea. It was very nerve-wracking. And you don't know what questions you're going to be asked. So yeah, I love it though. And yes, it's very amazing and exciting that I have 38 states now in my belt. All right. So again, post a 1 below if you are new, first to third time catching me live. 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie. Tell us where you're from. Join the group, Autism Mama Rocks IEP group, in the search bar. And so yeah, Erin, I know you said you got the course. And for anybody else who grabs the course, today's Cyber Monday. It's going to continue through today. If you get the course, if you need the link, let me know. You get the course, you get the accommodations and modifications course for free. And it's just super exciting. I went into detail on it in my last live. So go ahead and catch that. And I will talk to you guys soon. All right. I will more than likely be hopping on tomorrow for a bit. And then tomorrow night is Q&A. All right. So I will talk to you guys soon. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. All right. Talk to you soon. Have a good night.